Good morning. How we doing today? Good morning, good morning. We're going to get starting here. It is 9:20. I always say 8 because it's my local time is 8:20, but it is 9:20 on the East Coast in New York. Market's going to be opening in 10 minutes. We got some news that's going to be coming up. Actually, it's not news. It's Jerome Powell speaking. Right over there. That's New York. And yeah, we're going to be going light today. We're going to be trading light today. Light. Why? Because let me pull this up. Let me screen share. There it is. Today is Friday. We got news in Japan that already happened at 8 a.m. We got heavy news in Canada. That's already down. I wonder if we have any reaction from that. So this is the reaction when it's not the United States. There's almost no reaction. You see that? That is a 27. That's a 7 handle candle from Canada retail sales. The U.S. has 10 a.m. right here. 10 a.m. Fed Chair Powell speaks, and we have new home sales. So I'm going to be going light until 10 a.m. and then I might give it a minute to digest, to balance out. We'll see. Oh my gosh. Screen share. That probably sounded horrible. I'm so sorry, guys, if that was ridiculously loud. That was probably horrible, wasn't it? I could tell. I saw my levels of how loud it was. I'm so sorry. We will go over that again. Let's go over that again, okay? So Friday here. We're looking at Friday. Friday has 10 a.m. Fed Chair Powell speaking. He's going to be speaking at 10 o'clock. So we're not going to be taking any trades before 10 most likely. And then because it is a speaking event, that tells me there's going to be potential volatility during that speaking. Maybe not. Maybe it's really light. We'll have to see. It depends how smooth price action is. Does everything fall in place? Is it really nice? We'll just have to wait and see. But that's kind of that's what's happening right now. So we're going to be waiting for the opening here in 7 minutes. Now, yesterday, Sons of Rhythm, is that better as far as music goes? I apologize. I'm still working on that. There's some extra settings on here that I had to make sure that were correct. Let's add here. If I could lock that, is that possible to lock that? What happens when I do that? All right, we'll see what happens if we do that. Morning, John. Sons of Rhythm, good morning. Today, We are continuing the 3-trade challenge. The 3-trade challenge is all about only taking 3 trades. 3 trades and done. I talked about this yesterday. The issue I have found with myself and many traders in general is that there's so many rules for us to follow. Don't overtrade, don't revenge trade, don't take poor trades, don't gamble style trading, only take your setups, right? There's so many different things for you to analyze and track that what if we could just put that into one rule we follow? And I think that is us taking only 3 trades. If you can keep yourself to just taking 3 trades, you almost eliminate all these other things. Why? Because if you have 3 trades, there's really no chance for you to revenge trade. I guess you could in one single trade, but you'd be an idiot if you did that. You won't overtrade because you're limited to literally 3 trades. And you are more careful about taking the best of the best type setups just because you only have 3 trades to work with. So that's what we're working on today. That's what we're going to focus on today. Open is in here in 4 minutes. Now, I did mention yesterday I took my 3rd trade and I was $50 away from an eval passing, and I said I would show that this morning. So I'll show that right here. There's my balance. I did not take another trade. Even though I was so close to passing that account, and I could have had a funded account today. But nope, not going to do it because I took my 3rd trade and I'm sticking to the 3-trade rule. There's $52,938.24. I got about $60. We'll pass that today. We will pass that today. Does it say 60? 160?
Says 111. You didn't charge it.
Shoot. Probably. I must not have. I thought I was charged. I'm sorry. All right. How was your guys' week so far? This week of trading, how has it been? Did you guys have a good week so far? If you're up on the week, today needs to be a protection day, to be honest. Nobody likes going into the weekend taking a loss. So be extra careful. Be extra careful with your trades. Here's a breaker right here. See what price wants to do at that level. Also, Apex Extended, they just started their new promo. It's 80% off of everything, and it's $85 funded evaluation activation costs, which is half price, basically. And then all your resets are $40 instead of $50. That is what they're doing today. They're doing it to the end of the month, basically. So if you If you do use Apex and you want to start your funded journey on Apex, consider using the code DTJ as the code you use. Completely free, no extra cost. There's the open. Ding, ding, ding. I should do something where I have some type of ding, ding. I don't know what you call it. The opening bell. I think that'd be nice to have. Good reaction off of that breaker right there. Nice and smooth. That is running this low, my friends. Holy cow. Nice and quick. Let's see. What is our opening range? Gap. We got a huge range right here. So I want to see price consolidate right here. I don't want it to drop. We got a nice big opening range gap that I do want us to run towards. We will probably end up running that. We already hit a 15-minute fair value gap too, so there's definitely reason to run it. We also have the new day opening gap down here, so we probably are going to move lower. That is my expectation, that we're going to see lower prices. Powell speaks in 30 minutes. Good morning. Good morning. Deborah, nice to have you this morning. I shared my Trade of 8 account. There it is. I did not take a single trade after I got off stream. So now that we had this nice little drop, I would like to get a retracement and a continuation of it. I really like this level right here. Let's get rid of that breaker. We have a fair value gap to the left and a order block, breaker, and fair value gap to the right. So these are what I'm looking for. I would like price to come back up into this level, assuming we want to consolidate here a little bit. Not consolidate, but just don't want to drop like a rock right away. We did hit these equal lows. I was wanting to get in to run those equal lows, but it just moved too quickly for us. We just created some equal lows down here at 545. We just ran that again. It's dropping, my friends. Good morning, Charles. Debbie, you want to pass your eval today? Okay, what are you sitting at as far as how much do you have on your eval left? What's left on that eval? Now the thing about it, Deborah, I'm gonna mention this. Do not let the desire to pass your eval trump following your rules or the limits you're going to give yourself. If you're doing the 3 trade challenge, at 3 trades you need to stop. 1,400. Okay. Don't over leverage yourself either. Just saying. You should not be taking more than, I would probably say, 2 to 3 contracts to be safe. Why am I always blurry here? You should not be taking more than 2 to 3 contracts if you're doing a 50K account, just to protect yourself, because literally after 2 trades, you could be down $1,000 just like that if you get 2 wrong trades. I am watching this fair value gap right here. And let's look at the retracement. This is just over 50%. That means we're hitting, we'll get into premium as well, which is nice. We got to be careful just to make sure we are not, we got to make sure that it does not want to run just through this. So when we get up to this level, I'm not taking it on the first stab. I'm going to wait for, good. I'm glad you're using just one contract. We're going to wait for a 1 minute change in state of delivery, or we'll have to watch price action. Price action really tells me everything if I want to jump in or not. But I really want to reach into this. My first trade will be an eval trade. It will not be my live account because we have news. I will not be trading before the Fed speaks. On my live account, I will only be doing an eval trade. So take that for what it's worth. I'm driving, taking kids to school. Do not take a trade right now, Deborah. I can't say that I've never done that, though. Can't say that I've never not been listening and looking at charts while I'm on the road. All right, let's see what happens here. Do we inverse this? If we inverse this aggressively, I probably could get 10 handles out of this for a move. On an eval account. Eval only. Eval. I should copy this real quick. Watching this level right here. We have low resistance liquidity, but we have low resistance liquidity here. I want to see us reach up into this, ideally. That's what I want to see happen. Alkai, I didn't see your message. Good morning, my friend. How you doing? For those joining, we're waiting for price to hit either. Basically, I'm watching these two levels here. This one and this fair value gap here. I'm looking for resistance here, and I'm looking for this to break. Either way, I want it to go down, and we are also waiting for the Fed to speak. I want to see where if we get up to this level, that's 14, 15 handles. I could handle that. For potentially 40. I think what I'm going to do on my eval account is on the first stab into this, I will take a short because I'm only going for 50. Okay, and that means I only need to get pretty much 10 handles or 20 ticks, and then I should have it. I probably already had it, but missed it. There's it is. We're just going to hold this a little bit longer, see if we can get 10 handles out of this. Going for 40 ticks. We're at 42, so I need to go to 32. We're just going to do a quick one right here. Put a limit order in right there. Okay, there's my target. That just passed my eval account right here, 53,135 for that eval account. I'm still going to stay on eval because I am not going to do a live trade until after news. Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Charles got 10 handles. It will typically you will get some type of reaction at levels like this. So it's, even though it may not completely reverse, if you're going for 5-10 handles, you typically can get those on those reactions. You just got to be pretty nimble, pretty quick. But it's possible. So still on an eval account. With the new eval promo there did, I just got myself 2 new evals. Since I had that debacle of leaving an order on that basically crushed a couple of my funded accounts. Now, could this just drop from here? Absolutely it could. And ideally, that's what I want to have happen. Look at this key. Look at this right here. See this wick lower? I'm going to line that up on that wick. Look at that, guys. This is almost perfection. We got this low at 743.25 and the high is 743. We're 1 tick away from that low. And it stopped there. So beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. As far as seeing the setup, calling it, we didn't get all the way up to the breaker. Do you know what this tells me? It tells me we're going to probably come back up here again, fill more of this fair value gap in, maybe wick in this a little bit more, and then come back down here. That is absolutely a possibility. So don't feel like you have to chase this. Let it go if it wants to run. We'll find another opportunity. But many times on these breakers, I'll see these breakers hit 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Especially when there's news to come, or there's something, or it's waiting for price to play out. I have a video on my channel called, I think it called it like just a random name, the magic box. That is this area, the magic box. It gets hit like 5 or 6 times sometimes, and then it will deliver 10 to 20 handles every time. So you could wait for this to come back up here, hit it, get 10 handles and get out, get 15 handles and get out. It also can be an indication that price is going to reverse as well, meaning that while it does hit it here, it may come back up again a little bit higher, maybe a little bit higher this time, and runs lower, but then it eventually reverses completely. So you just got to be aware that that can happen as a result of multiple attempts at a breaker. But I wouldn't surprise me if we come up here to this breaker again. And since I'm on an eval account, I might just take a stab at it and see what happens. Now, I say stab at it because I'm done with one account. I did take a trade on this other eval account because it was copied. So I only have 2 more trades on my eval accounts. Ultimately waiting on my personal account till after 10 o'clock. I want lower prices, Joseph. I want lower prices. I don't want prices to continue to go higher. For eval accounts, usually it's 2 to 3 contracts. Right now, I'm just doing 1 because we're before news. On my live account, I usually do 5 micros. And on my copied accounts, I'll just do 5 micros and copy it on however many accounts I had. I've done up to 10 before. When you do that, that turns into a nice, pretty penny at the end of the day. Did you guys see ICT's stream yesterday? He went for 4 hours yesterday. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I haven't watched it yesterday's. I haven't watched it. Just, that's so hard to do that many. I'm going to take another short once we go above this high here. There's that level there I'm going to wait for. And then we'll take a short on that. There's the short. I'll go there and see if it holds. Now we're doing... What just happened? It just sold that on me. Don't know why, but it just sold that on me. Let's see where this body closes here. This is our original breaker. Are we going to close through this, or are we going to wick back down? If we wick, that's honestly what we want to see, is a wick back down. Joseph, I'll get to you here in a second. Okay, so we are within the breaker block. It's allowable, but at this point, I'm waiting to see how price responds to this. See how it's respected the body or the mean threshold. Okay, so it's respected the mean threshold, but we want to wait for either an inversion or a change in state of delivery. Okay, a change in state of delivery on the 1 minute is we're waiting for a red candle to close below a previous green candle, and since this is a big one, we would have to wait till it comes all the way down here. I don't think that's going to happen yet. So hopefully we get a small fair value gap right here. Okay, this could act as an inversion at the moment. We're seeing what price wants to do. This is a breaker block. Let me change the color of this so it's clear. Okay, that's the breaker block right now. Let me get rid of this. Now, if an order block is put in right here, we need to be careful. This is acting as an inversion fair value gap. We retested it, stopped at the high, and we could be running for this high right here. This is why we're waiting, not taking a short. I took a stab at this, and for whatever reason, it sold it right away. I don't know what happened. So I'm not sure why that did that. We are too close to 10 o'clock. I'm probably not taking another trade, even on eval right now. We'll just tape read this. Joseph, any thoughts on how to define the range? How do you define liquidity points that are a priority for the day? Well, the easy ones are the previous day high and previous day low. That's obvious. Then you can go the previous day or previous PM session and the previous AM session. You can also do the current AM session if you're in the PM session. And then if you're in the AM session, you can look at the London session. So London session would be roughly from this high, which we've already grabbed, and your London session low is right around here, right below the midnight open. Okay? So you look at previous sessions as your point of liquidity and your targets that you want to target. That's what you can define as session liquidity. Then you have your obvious targets, swing highs, equal lows, equal highs. Those are going to be obvious things that you're going to want to identify in price so that you can see it as a potential range. So if this, I'm not going to take this whatever happened here as one of my trades. That's not fair. That's not fair. And I think even if this goes, I'm not taking it. We're too close to open. I don't want to have price do any funky things to me. It did respect this breaker really nicely. And it looks nice. But I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait. I just think there's wisdom in it, even though everything in me saying, why not take the trade? I mean, it looks really good. You should take it. You should take it. You should take it. It could work out. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to keep my hands right here for the next 12 seconds. Four seconds. Okay, there it is. What's going to happen? I hope it runs the other. I hope it just explodes higher. There's the test of the fair value gap. That would be an entry. Let's see. That's a great reaction to that test. That's a fabulous reaction. We call that an immediate rebalance. See if it wants to push through it though. My hands are still right here. I'm watching. We're going to see what happens. I really wanted to take that. Short, specifically. It tested that low. Okay, an immediate push higher right at the opening of a new candle. This is really aggressive for that for an opening candle push. We're back in that breaker block. All right, I think I feel okay now. Put my hands down. I'm not taking it. Okay, awesome. What about higher time frames? Great, that's a great question. Typically, if you're going to target something on the 1 minute, ideally you want it to be a 15-minute time frame target. So let's throw the 15-minute up right here. So if I'm looking for a target, you want to do a 15-minute swing high, 15-minute swing low, equal lows. I really like these relatively equal lows right here. This is a nice target with the midnight open sitting right here and this 15-minute fair value gap sitting down here. This is ultimately why I'm bearish, is because of that right there. Is we have these equal lows. We got this fair value gap. overlapping with a mitigation block right here. That's why. Ultimately, that's why. So, see how it keeps stopping in this breaker? This is what I was referring to. I went short way before this breaker. If I was going to go short, I should have waited till the breaker anyway. I'm not going to do anything at this point. But you can see that this level is significant just by how many wicks we're getting in here, how we leave it come back and we stop after this aggression. I mean, this is a lot of aggression. It is significant. Now, is it going to run through and just run this high, or is it going to stay in this box on the 1 minute? Okay, there's the close above. This breaker now is less significant to me for a downside move. Let's see if it wants to act as a inverse breaker, meaning once you break through it, it finds support at the mean threshold and moves higher. So we want to see it respect or stay in this upper half of this breaker box. And look what this is. This is a order block right here. So we want to see where price closes in 24 seconds. If it's going to come back down here, this is price action with news happening in 4 minutes. We just want to stay out of. Yeah, it's time to step out. Time to sit on our hands, guys. Sit on your hands. Sit on your hands right now. We got relatively equal lows down here. I could see it pushing for that. Now it ran and made this inverse. It should run liquidity, but if it doesn't, it ran that. It closed below it. We should hit this low right here, right? I mean, that's our rules. It should hit that. But if it doesn't, it's telling us that we need to stay out, right? That's what it's telling us. This one failed as well. This one failed to the downside and made a higher high. This one also failed to the downside. Didn't hit the low and made a higher high. So what are we seeing? Our premium PD arrays are failing and price is moving higher through them. Now this right here, if it closes above this fair value gap, which we're not taking, based on what we've been seeing, I would assume that this would make a higher high here and then run this high. Why? We didn't follow through on 2 bearish inversion fair value gaps and didn't make a lower low. So we should run this high if we close above this level here. That's how I'd see that. But we still got 14 seconds before news. We're not going to do anything right now. I don't care what happens. Boom. There it is. That's news. Look at that, friends. This is why we don't mess around. No messing around, my friends. No, no, no. We're going to stay away from that. let that work itself out. Okay. Look how nicely it stops at that new day opening gap. Yeah, it blows through it, but when you see price stop there and retrace, it's just and you can't see that signature in price when you do a market replay or anything like that. All right, so 15-minute. What do we got? We got this high over here. Let's run this high. Probably run that high there. Let me go. Let's move down to. Let's get this screen going. You see how I wanted lower prices, Joseph, and when news comes out, it doesn't happen. It's almost impossible to predict news. All right, there's our high. We have another new day opening gap sitting right here. Now, based on how aggressive this is, I'm expecting some type of retracement. We also have this breaker sitting right here on the 4-hour. This is a 4-hour breaker. Look at the 4-hour. I'll just pop that up here on this chart. There's our 4-hour right there. High, low, higher high, drop. I also have this Fibonacci tool on here. Let's do our retracement targets and let's see where they're sitting at. My guess is 70% is going to be relatively close to that. There's our 70% retracement. It'd be higher. I almost like this level here. The 62% retracement is sitting right here. So look at this aggressiveness, man. There's our breaker. Obviously, you probably are going to get a big retracement. Let's just watch this. We'll get a decent retracement on this. Okay? If you were in this trade, if you decided to get in short right here, right, and you put a standard 10-point stop loss, watch what kind of reaction we'll get. So far, we've gotten 18 handles on this breaker. It doesn't mean we're going down, but it's almost like a guarantee you're going to have some type of reaction to it when you hit levels like this. So if you go light, you can, there's 27 handles on a retracement. Now, you never know how much you're going to get each time. It could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 50. But my point is, when you hit these levels for the first time, you always get your biggest reaction on the first approach to these types of levels. There's 40 handles. 40 handle reaction to that breaker, to that 4-hour time frame breaker. Now, you can also go down to the hourly, and that breaker's still there. Do you guys see that? Now, let me remove that. Let me get rid of some of these. I got a lot of lines on here. Do you see that? So this gave us a 40 handle reaction on its initial hit. And I wouldn't be holding it anymore if you did something like that. You have to be quick on those types of plays. So I probably would have only gotten 10, 20 handles at most, because you never know when it's going to start pumping higher again, especially something like this. Because typically you don't see price make a complete V-shape recovery. You're not going to see price usually do this and then go straight back down on a 1-minute time frame. No, you're not going to see that. You're typically, if you're going to see something like that, it's more probable for it to do something like this and then go. especially on the 1 minute time frame. So that's why I'm saying this retracement, if you think that it's just going to start dropping all the way down here from this initial reaction, you're mistaken. It rarely will ever do that. So this is a get 10 handles out of the first approach to this type of level and get out. Don't hold it, because you'll get ran over on price moving the other direction many times. Joseph, why is my 1 minute completely different than yours? Is that usual during news? No. You should see the same thing on my chart as you would see on your chart. Now, if we close below this, I'm going to take that short. Actually, do we got a 2 minute? Yeah, 2 minute. I'm going to do it on the 2 minute time frame. The 1 minute time frame had another fair value gap right here. So I need the 2 minute to close. We got equal lows right here. We got more equal lows right here. And we got this new day, or you got our opening range gap that's really wide, and we got our new day opening gap down here. Joseph, what trading platform or charting system do you use? Do you use Tradeovate? Do you use TradingView? What we're looking at is TradingView. Joseph, if you're on TradingView, then here's what you need to make sure. Make sure your contract is NQU 2024, not NQ1 exclamation point. It needs to be NQU 2024. Also, I think we have contract rollover this week or next week. Might be next week. Usually I see people on Twitter talking about it. I don't keep track of when I'm supposed to roll it over. I usually just let other people on Twitter tell me. It's just one less thing I had to keep track of. All right, so this is a new day opening gap from the 19th. I need to be better at specifying, because you can see how price, even though it went through it, it stopped around it, also stopping at this breaker. Also, it stopped here, right above this other new day. What is that? This is from August 20th. See how I said it will fake as if it's going lower, but almost never will it just drop. It will always go up higher. See that? That is very, very common. Okay, so Joseph, when it comes to chart analysis, always do NQU, not MNQU. You can do your executions on MNQU, but never chart on MNQU. You take your trades on MNQU on the micro chart, but make it based on the mini chart, the regular NQ, because this is where the liquidity is. This is where predominantly price is moving. The micros are a result of NQ. Because what you'll find is you'll see MNQ, let's just say, hit a swing low, and you're like, oh, we hit our target. It's going long. I'm going long. But NQ didn't hit it, and so it goes lower. Because NQ is predominantly the asset to keep your eye on. For those of you that are joining, we have our 3-day challenge. 3-trade challenge, meaning we are only taking 3 trades and we are quitting after that because it is easier to manage over trading, revenge trading, taking poor setups when you only have 3 trades. So my challenge is to do this for a week, for you to do it for a week and see how much better and more patient you trade and how you wait for more quality setups by having this one rule. Only one rule. Only take 3 trades. And you'll see yourself trade better. So I've taken 1 on my eval account before the Fed started speaking. Now we're just waiting for price to show up. And I haven't taken any trades on my fundeds or cash accounts, which would be next if I'm going to do it. Dunsworth, that's great. And you probably see it work well for you. This is for all the traders out there that don't do it, that struggle with, getting profits and then they end up losing it. We are past the Feds, so if I see an opportunity, I'll take it. Deborah, I'll take the opportunity. Right now, I'm looking for either a higher time frame target to be hit. It could be this hourly. It could or looking for a massive displacement candle to the downside. And even on my funded and cash accounts, I'm probably going to go lighter than normal simply because this week was a great week. And I don't like ending my week with big negative numbers. So it's just a psychology thing to protect yourself, and to protect that psychology is if the first trade is a loser on a light entry, I'll be done on that. I won't trade again on that because I want to keep small losses going into the weekend. It's not like I plan on losses, but it's just a way to protect yourself. The only other fair value gap on the higher time frames is this 1 hour and then this 15-minute. If we drop down to the 5-minute, let's see what else we got here. Interesting. The 5-minute overlaps with the hourly. And we also have another breaker right here. Do you guys see that? This is an 8:30 news candle. It's the target we took the other day. Yesterday. So we have another breaker right there on the we'll watch that as well. So we have a couple imbalances and a breaker sitting up here. It may not reach up to it, but I'm watching that. If we're going to not reach up there, the displacement needs to be large, and I probably won't be going short unless we close below this 2-minute. So it needs to close below here on a 2-minute time frame to target these swing lows here. I probably would take that. And you could also, it may want to run all the way down here to the new day opening gap and fill in this opening range gap from the opening price. So that's what we'd be watching. So any large displacement lower, I don't care unless it starts breaking below this 2-minute. And if we can get that 2-minute to overlap with the 5-minute close, I would love that even more. But until that happens, I'm going to view this as bullish price action. Yes, it's a massive candle, but it's stopping in this fair value gap. So even though this is manipulation, it's trying to get you to say, hey, it's running lower, but look where it stops. It stops in the fair value gap. It doesn't break this low. It respects it, and then it retraces above it. That's a void type candle. Don't pay attention to that until you start seeing something more significant. And for me, from when price opened, this is the significant level because we have liquidity below here, and if we can close below it, there's a good chance we're running this and potentially running down to here. It's the obvious level. It's the obvious support on price right now. Do you see how price is finding support in the upper half of this fair value gap? That's the 3-minute. 4 minutes. So the 1, 2, and 3 look nice. I just don't like this small little fair value gap on the 1-minute, so that's why I'm going to the 2-minute. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to use the restroom. Right now, it's just about being patient. I don't know how long the Fed speaker speaking, but my guess is when they're done, they'll release it and start moving price again. I'm really not interested in anything long here. And I could be completely wrong. You close above this, technically. Well, technically it's not an entry because we didn't sweep liquidity to the downside. So this is not an A plus type setup. This is more of a B plus. We have the potential draw on liquidity to the upside. Higher, we have a breaker up here. We have a 5-minute hourly and a 15-minute fair value gap. But we didn't run liquidity on the downside. So that makes this a B plus, not an A plus. Could still work. Look how before the news, look at the size of these candles before the news. 738 to, that's 40 handles, or no, 738, that's 14 handles in this large green move higher. And then all these other candles, 27 to 4, that's 20 handles. That's 25, 30 handles. It just, the volume gets a lot bigger after news. So you can see how it like holds back until the news, or it gives, until the algorithm gives it permission to start moving. For those of you just joining, we are doing a three trade challenge. Meaning we're looking to only take 3 trades during our trading session and being done for the day to prevent overtrading, revenge trading, and taking poor setups. This is the challenge to see if you see improvement in your trading as a result of only taking 3 trades. And my bet is you're going to come back and say yes. And if you come back and say no, my next question is how long have you been trading? And what is your trading strategy? And if you can't give me a legitimate one, I'm going to tell you that's the reason why. If you have a legitimate trading strategy that is profitable and you can stick to only taking 3 trades, waiting for those A plus type setups, you will find profitability in it. So we talked about that this is a B plus setup moving to its high. It's found resistance at this volume imbalance on the daily chart. It's hit it 3 times. We have relatively equal highs here. We retraced down to this new day opening gap and bounced from there inside this fair value gap. And we should have seen a higher price after we did this. We should have seen this happen, and then it should continue higher, but it's not. So it's more of let's wait and see what happens. Now, I looked into that Alki. I didn't get very far. I think it was recently after that I came across ICT, and then I stopped. Because the reality is ICT teaches that in a different way. He teaches it in the context of premium and discount. So if you look at this candle right here, if you want to go long, you should have been going long down here. Because that's cheap. That's a cheap trade. If you want to go short, you want to go short above equilibrium for in this range, right? So that's why I basically discarded the ATR entries. All right, so we did end up running that high. Let's see if we can get. Most likely, I'm looking for price to come up into this level, these levels up here. Sometimes I get tired of this bright light in my face. It's most of the reason why I wear a hat. I like wearing hats though. I mean, I just don't like that bright light in my face. I know I need it for the visuals. Explain what you mean, but in openings. I don't understand what you're meaning by that. And quite frankly, I didn't get super deep into it maybe that's why I'm not understanding what you're referring to. Okay. So take a look at this on the 4 hour. I'm going to drag this breaker that we put on here onto the 4 hour close price, the closing price of the 4 hour. So this is the breaker anchored to the closing price. So I'm just once I see additional price action, I'll re-anchor things to get a more accurate assessment, right? So this breaker could still be in play. It just wasn't from the wick low. Let me show you. Here's the 4 hour, right? We had this wick low anchored and it came to this exactly, right? But then it pushed higher and now it's been respecting the body's close of this breaker. Now, the concern I have on taking a trade like this is an inversion fair value gap if we break below it, okay? If we break below it, the next point of liquidity is down here. But what is that sitting in? This next 2-minute fair value gap. So when I look at which fair value gap is supporting price? It's this one. So do I want to go short on a higher fair value gap that may find resistance, which it already has twice? So you got to be careful taking these types of shorts into fair value gaps that have already found resistance. This is why I'm saying this is the level I want to see broken, because it's already found support multiple times in it. And if it breaks that support, there's a high probability we're going to fill in the rest of this opening range gap and draw to this new day opening gap. That's the idea behind it. And when you look how big this drop is, we're talking it's almost 100 points here to here. So from this, you're at 860 to almost 600. That's 160 handles. I'm okay taking a short here compared to trying to get it up here. You might get more of a retracement when you're down here, but I'm not trying to get 160 handles. I don't need 160 handles. I'll take 10, 20, 30, 40 and be happy. I just want to get a piece and get out. We'll tape read this, but I will not be taking this. Let me look at the 30 second though. Is a 30 second provides a swing low down here. So, but the 30 second has no obvious fair value gap that's obvious. So this is why I would not be taking it. Here's a breaker, high, low, higher, high. See if we find resistance right here. I'm tired today. I went to bed early too. Good reaction from that breaker on the 30 second. That turned out nicely. 1 minute, really, it has a small fair value gap here with this small little swing low. So you could take a 1 minute short if you wanted, if it wants to push that low. But I'm going to wait. Good morning, Wilhelm. All right, there's the close below. Is that no? That's the close below the 2 minute right there. Let's watch this and see what happens here. 22 handle stop loss. Target, I would say if you're going to move stop to break even, it's at, I mean, as soon as you break this low, I would be moving my stop to break even. So that's 10 handles. You could take profit at that. That's not bad. You should be able to get this. All right, so now your stops move to break even. You're taking some profit. And there's your stop to break even. Now, if you didn't take, let's just assume you didn't take your stop to break even. I'm just looking at this as how can I protect myself so I don't get a 20 handle stop loss or hit a 20 handle stop loss. That's what I'm thinking. Plus, if you move your stop to break even and it breaks you out at break even, that doesn't count against one of your 3-trade challenge, one of your 3 trades. So you would still be able to take another one. So I didn't take that, Deborah. I'm sitting out and waiting. I'm just tape reading it. I don't think it's the best of the best trades. It's a B plus probably. B. This is the obvious level for me. Did the music stop? So the thing is, if you're in a trade like this, you got to decide, when are you going to move your stop to break even? Are you happy with 20 handles? There's 20 handles right there, right? I am 100% moving my stop to break even at this point. It grabbed some liquidity on the 1 minute time frame right there. So I would be taking profits. 100%. I would be all out. New day opening gap right there. I'm all out on that trade. I mean, that would have been 27 handles if you were to take that. So the 1 hour filled this 1 hour fair value gap sitting here. It wicked up to the breaker. It left this one. I would be okay with this being left open. This 1 hour fair value gap and breaker being left open tells me we see lower prices. Especially if we start getting major displacement lower, that would make me happy and convince me we're seeing lower prices in a bigger way. Because I mean, that's just typical order flow. We don't want to see it violate this price if we want to see lower prices. Nice job, Charles. Way to go. It's 10:40 right now. We're coming up to the 11 a.m. macro. Got a 1 hour fair value gap right below this midnight open. I think I mentioned the 15 minute. Yeah. I do like this. I like these levels here. Down here. Around the midnight open as well. I'm willing to wait for an opportunity to take a short, and if we don't get it, I guess I don't take a trade. What are we doing? We are waiting at the moment. We closed below this 2 minute. And we still haven't hit the swing low on the 2 minute. This would be your target if you were doing the 2 minute short. But honestly, I would have got all out at the new day opening gap sitting right there. And remember, I'm bullish until we close below this. That's my assessment. That was a nice breaker right here. This down close candle inside this fair value gap. Fair value gap to the right. This is a beautiful breaker. Swept buy side liquidity. Decent displacement. If it wasn't for this level down here, I would have taken this. This is a nice move. Here's our inversion fair value gap on the 1 minute. Let's see if we find resistance at this level here. I'm looking at this buy side. Once we come below it, we should and come back up to it, we want to find resistance right there. And it looks like it's giving that to us. It's also 10:45, and this is when price can actually start moving. I'd like to see this stay above this level in the next 10 seconds. I don't want it to go below. Because that's the 1 minute. And so when the 2 minute closes, the 1 minute could also close below this level. Son of a gun. Wait, what happened? Okay, so we closed above this level. That's what I wanted to see. Now we can see the 2 minute close. I'm gonna get in this. It made equal lows here. It could give me a big retracement here. I will take profit if once we hit this low here. Okay, I'm going to sell there. Now I'm going to hold this remaining amount. There we go. Let's get nice displacement. I'll take profit at the midnight open. I'm okay with that. There it is. Selling there. We could also see it at the new day opening gap. Run all the way down to here is really where my target would be. But I'm okay taking my profit here from that move. We got in here at 740 and we sold at 60. That's 100 handles, guys. No, it's 80 handles. I got 80 handles in a minute. I mean, I'm not complaining. I will get out of that in a heartbeat. Did you guys just see that? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We don't need it to go to the final target. I'll take 40, 50, 60, 70 handles. Sorry, what I meant by that, I sold my eval account here. You saw the eval. So I got my entry at 739 and I sold at 23. That was 15 handles on this, but I also took the same trade on my personal account, which was off screen. My entry was 738 and my sell was 662. That's 76 handles I got. 76 handles. Now, I want to note, when we saw this candle aggressive on the 2-minute and it didn't close yet, did you see how I decided I'm going to get in early? Because I've seen this stuff happen before where it will just run and it can run without you. Now, I could have waited until it closed because it made the equal lows, but sometimes it won't wait and it will keep going. So when I saw it was just being aggressive and pushing and we had about 20, 30 seconds left, I'm like, I'm going to get in. This is going to run. I was already expecting this to close below, and when it did, I knew we were going to have an aggressive move. You guys, I talked about this exact thing for the last hour. That's what I was waiting for. So you could bet. I mean, for me, I had the conviction that I'm going short as soon as this hits. As soon as I'm seeing that it's not going to turn around. It could have turned around and I would have been in drawdown and I would have taken a loss. But it was one of those trades I was willing to take and take that risk on it. And it did exactly what we expected it to do. We're going to see it hit this new day opening gap right here in a second. And that's probably going to, that would have been the target if I had multiple contracts. I only did 2 micros on my personal account because I already told you I was going to go light on the day because I did not want to end negative on a already fantastic week. So this was a light trade, but still, the principle is not about how much money I make. It was about how many handles I got, because that's what gives me the confidence on my next trade, on my next analysis, because I'm seeing price move for what it is. And we had the right analysis, and I'm confident that the next time I put together analysis, I'm going to have a somewhat accurate analysis. And I might be willing to go heavier at that point. But it's about building that confidence over time, because this is a long-term goal. This is not how much money can I get out right now? I'm planning on becoming a multi-million-dollar day trader. And you guys are here going to see the very foundation of it. There's no doubt in my mind it will happen. I'm not there yet, but I will be. And this is the mentality I believe you have to be able to hit those levels. Now, I probably could take more risk. Probably some of these $1 million day traders take more risks or hold full port. They don't take partial profits, maybe. That's okay. I'm doing what I want to do at this moment, but I believe that when I'm looking at the numbers as how much I'm making right now, that's not what matters. What matters is, am I getting the correct analysis? Am I seeing proper execution in my trade? And am I getting fair amounts of volume? Do I get in at the right time? And does price move immediately following that? We see it happen right here. We saw it happen right there. That was a fantastic trade. I am done on every account. I am closing my accounts for the weekend. I'm happy with what I ended up with. Beautiful, beautiful day and amazing week. Did anybody else get that? All right, Deborah, way to go. $800 so far on the day. Be okay with ending it today. End your week on a high note. Alkai, when you say hard, what's hard? Is it stopping at this point? Is it being able to hang the hat on the day? It is hard. It is 100% hard, especially when no one's watching. $85 handles. Way to go, my friend. Way to go, Richard. That was the move. Now, for those of you that may have been watching and didn't get that trade, you have a harder job to do now. Your job is to end your day. End your day. Because the feeling of wanting to get another trade to make up for what you missed is going to be apparently large. It's going to be obvious. And you may not see it because you're like, well, I missed the trade. I still have my 3 trades. I'm going to wait for the next logical setup. Subliminally, your emotions are going to affect your decisions. You're going to try to find a logical setup because you missed one that hurts. I'm only speaking out of experience here. I've missed trades like this over and over again. And afterwards, I'm like, shoot, I got to stay on and I got to wait for another setup. And then I'm looking for something to be a setup. I'm trying to make something happen, even though I think I'm just being logical. So be very, very, very careful if you didn't get that trade. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. If you have already taken 3 trades, you should be done. 100% Alkai. That is the most difficult part, is trying to stop trading for the day. I am logged out of all my accounts. Well, not quite. I'm looking at my statistics for today. All right, I am logged out. And we still have, all right, we came back up. Here's a breaker right at this level, rebalancing this. I'm expecting a deeper type of retracement. I don't think we'd stop here and continue lower. To be honest, I don't know if we need to go lower. Look at the 1 hour. Look at this 1 hour candle. Look at the 1 hour on this bad boy. Here's my guess. The rest of the trading day, or a majority of the trading day, will be within this wick high and this wick low. The majority of the trading day is going to be between here. Why? We got multiple new day, new week opening gaps here. We got a volume imbalance here. We got a breaker above. We got new day opening gaps above. Now, I could be wrong, but this is what I would think price would do, because it's already grabbed. Well, I guess it hasn't grabbed buy side completely or sell side completely. And we haven't grabbed buy side completely. So we could see a complete retracement all the way up here to hit this breaker, or to get up to this buy side. Actually, that side was already taken. Right here. That's buy side liquidity from yesterday. So we could see price slowly over the next 2 hours get up to here and then be aggressive up here. But typically, after you get a sharp move, if it wants to move the other direction, it will literally do something like this. I'm not kidding. It will take hours of your time, slow down, do a deep retracement, and then explode higher. It happens more often than not. And what happens is people will miss this move, and so they want to get the continuation to the downside, but it never goes. It never goes. And then it gives you a hint of a bigger move, and then it retraces, stops you out because then it goes higher. It looks like it's going to hit this breaker, then it retraces, you think it's going short, but then it goes just a little bit higher and higher and continues this slow progression over and over all the way through this big move. This is what you got to be careful in. And I'm only speaking from experience because I have lost so much money in this before. I've lost a lot of money in that kind of price action. That's my guess is what's going to happen. But it's Friday, guys. I'm green. I think I'm going to call it a day just for my own psychology's sake. I don't want to sit on here and see another fantastic trade and be tempted to take it on either evals or funded accounts. I'm just going to be done. It's Friday. I'm headed out for the weekend. My son has a football tournament that I coach. I coach his football team, and we got a flag or a tackle football tournament he's going to. So I'm excited about that. So we're going to call it a day. Great day, great week. Thanks for being here, guys. If you liked this stream, you liked the commentary, please do me a solid. 2 things I'm asking. Hit the like button. And if you use Apex, use the DTJ code for 80% off and $85 on activations for funded accounts. No cost to you. You're going to pay that referral fee somewhere to someone. So if you're getting if you're finding this content fantastic, beneficial, insightful, please, I'd greatly appreciate that. Just a small way you can support me on what you're already doing. Other than that, I'll be live here again Monday morning, 9:20 Eastern Standard Time. Ready to do it again, guys. Other than that, have a blessed weekend. God bless you. We will see you next week.